The sun is setting. It's so bright. I have a difficult time. Hey, Forrest. Oh, look at that big boy. Look at that big boy. I have got my battery charging, and I've been throwing a little corn. I have not been out there and thrown any this morning. We're working on replacing the tub in one of the bedrooms. A red-tagged doe and her babies. I think both those little babies might be little bucks, if I remember right. Actually, 7 or 8, 4, 5, 6 deer out there. Only that one big buck. Boy, he is a beauty, though. It might be Forrest. Is that Forrest? Or is it somebody bigger than Forrest? I'm just not sure about him. I don't think that's Forrest. Saw Forrest in the middle of the night out there, digging around, feeding around in front of that feeder, probably getting some feed that's underneath the leaves or something. Maybe it's somebody else missed, but yeah, that big boy right there come in with those does. That's that big monster 6x5, I believe. That's who that is. Yeah, I believe that's who that is. It's a big, giant monster 6x5. Oh, beautiful, typical deer, just about as pretty as you could ever imagine. Yeah, there's about 5 does out there, so I guess there might be a half a dozen deer out there, counting him. There's not any food, but they got that mineral lake there, that's the one that's got garlic in it. It kind of helps with the ticks. We're hoping the turkeys eat all the ticks this year, or at least keep the population really down. Those deer are all pretty wild. No doubt about that. I had to come in and check it out. The feeder went off probably. Well, it didn't go off because there's no battery in it. Got the battery charging. We had all that cloudy, rainy weather, and the battery needs a little charging. Yeah, that guy's still amorous. Those horns above that feeder. Wow. Well, I got the charge battery back in the feeder, and the feeder is throwing feed. I did not reset the time. The controls, well, that's Forrest right there, that big one right there. That's TC, his father, behind him. So that's two of our house bucks here, regular house bucks. And I hadn't seen Forrest in 2 or 3 days here. We've seen him around on the ranch and other places, so we knew he was just fine. But he's pretty doggone impressive. He really is. 3rd set of horns. TC, 7, 8 years old. 7 probably. I'm not sure, but he's old. But he is going to have a lot of bucks that's got that big wide rack. One side might be a little messed up, but they're going to be real wide and real heavy and produce a lot of nice looking deal. My buddy Larry's here, and we're fixing a new shower for Chris. They saw something coming out there out of the woods. These 2 deer don't pay a whole lot of attention to the dogs in the yard. They're used to Benelli. They know they're not going to chase it. But they're wondering about what's coming in off out there, and I don't see anything looking around. But that's what they're concerned about, is something coming through the woods. Not really concerned with what's happening here at the house, but what is coming through the woods. Forrest, he says, I'm just going to watch and see. When they hear a sound or they smell something, they just stop and don't do a whole lot until they positively identify it. And you can see he's watching Larry out there. Larry's loading the truck, and he's watching Larry load the truck and getting brand new walk-in shower for Chris that we're working on. We tore out a jacuzzi in a big old master bedroom that we tore out a really nice jacuzzi, and we're putting a real nice big walk-in shower that'll have a fold-down bench, a fold-down wooden bench, and handrails, and it'll help Chris right now while she's having to have somebody help her with the shower. But it will really help her once she starts walking. She'll be able to either walk in there or ride her chair in there and get up and take showers by herself and stand up, sit down, whatever. We'll rig that thing out really, really nice for her. So really looking for that. It'll be an awful nice walk-in shower for guests as well. Even though we do have another shower in that bedroom, it had a shower and a tub, so it'll have 2 showers. But that's okay. Hey, she's a special girl. She deserves 2 showers. The way I look at it, that's my opinion, and make life as easy and as comfortable and as fun and enjoyable as possible for that lady during the last 15 or 20 years of her life here. That's just what my goal is. And letting her enjoy all of the wildlife and everything. It's just, we almost live in heaven. We will simply graduate to heaven one day. Look at how wide that guy is. Is he special? Look at that shadow. Look at how wide its shadow, his horns are out on both sides. Antlers, Jimmy. But it's just really, he's something right there. He is him and Forrest. Father and son. What a great, look at him out on both sides of that tree. And that's something, that's a pretty good sized tree too. The antlers sticking out on both sides of it. Just look at that. Look at that. Isn't that something? A buck tree. That's what that is. A buck tree. Well, this is a really beautiful sight. Look at that right there. We've had cold winter days, and today it got to 55. 3 beautiful bucks. We know them all. We know them all well. Now, there was another little spike buck off to the left. When I opened the door and came out here, he took off like a rocket. These 3 boys are saying, "What's wrong with you?" That's our boss up there. Forrest is thinking, I'm not going up there. He might throw me some carrots. Forrest, his father, TC, and, of course, little buddy. We've lost some bucks that have been hanging around the house, but these 3 right here have made it through the rut. Now, they'll still play with a girl if she's willing. No doubt about that. But the sun is setting. It's so bright. I have a difficult time. Hey, Forrest. I have a difficult time being able to see where I'm looking. Get that up there, and the sun is up there. But these guys are enjoying the planted ryegrass. Buddy just lives here and loves it. He doesn't go very far away. It's what little Whitey was supposed to do too, but somehow he got off, or I got off and got in a little fight and got killed. We don't know. But the rye is still growing here. Looking into a new year. I wish I had it over the entire yard. Spent me another 90 bucks. I could have, or 80 bucks or whatever it was. $89, I don't know. And could have had it over the entire yard. That would have been a pretty yard for the wintertime. Plus a lot more food for the deer. But the deer got plenty. And they're enjoying it a lot. And you can see that they're eating a Bermuda as well. But that was a beautiful sight right there. Those 3 boys together like that. And there was another buck out here. I was hoping he would not run off, but he took off like a banshee. He does not know that the guy behind the iPhone is a friend. A big-time friend. You boys are so pretty. Whitey is traveling around with TC. TC is back there in the back. But is traveling around with Mr. TC right now. There he is. What is traveling around with him? And this probably could be the deer we saw across the road earlier with a smaller deer. There's a much smaller deer right there. I can find it. There it is. Much smaller deer right there that looks like a doe, but it gets around just right. You see that it's actually a little spike. And I don't know if it's got 1 spike or 2. I think it does have 2. It's the very first horns, obviously. A very small deer. Now, just because it's a spike doesn't mean that someday it might not have a great big giant set of antlers. It depends on what kind of genetics it has in it, but you can see that hard to see the spikes. They're brown. But it could end up being pretty big, and we saw a big deer with a big rack way across the road, sparring head-to-head with a small rack. That right, that deer's mouth, wasn't that funny? And the big deer was probably TC. I don't see TC down there. But also, if we can look at something, I'll move over here to see, there's TC. Oh, those antlers in the bushes. So you looking at me? You looking at me, boss? If you look up, we talk about the ducks, the upper end of the lake. There's our old duck blind. You begin to see lines of ducks. And if you get over there and can look through the trees, you'll see literally hundreds and hundreds of ducks. See all those over there? Back through the trees, look through the trees, and there, and you see literally hundreds and hundreds of ducks in that upper end. Many back behind on up there where we can't see, but they're coming in every day. We do not duck hunt here at the house anymore. We hunt the other lake. There's a lot of ducks right there. We leave this one for a sanctuary. One to hunt and one is a sanctuary. There are a lot of ducks there. I'm talking a lot of ducks. Now looking down in the yard, I see that that's TC. Buddy has showed up. So we have Buddy, we have TC, and I guess we could say Little Spike. Little Spike will run off if I go out there. He's totally wild. He's only calm and cool because he's with those other two bucks. Decided to run with them for a while. He said they live in a pretty nice place on this big old piece of property. Little Buddy's gonna have some nice looking horns next year if he'll make it. We're still broken-hearted about apparently losing little Whitey, but we have another little guy to take his place, maybe, you reckon? Definitely not going to have the kind of antlers ever that Whitey was about to have. Come next year, Whitey would have been pretty impressive to look at. 2 years from now, take your breath away. Okay, guys and girls, we've had a lot of traffic around here this week, and been out here. We've had a saw set up out here working on that new shower for Chris, and we hadn't had much buck activity at all around the house, but I looked out, and sure enough, what I see out here but Forrest and his father. Forrest and his daddy. And TC's getting a little nervous right now. I'm gonna switch over there and let's look at TC. He's walking away. I don't want him to leave. Where you going, TC? Where you going, buddy? Hi, Forrest. Hi, buddy. There was a couple does and fawns up there. You can see them way out there in the distance that come out here and was eating. The feeder is throwing, but it's not throwing very much out for some reason. Might still have a little bit of clog up in there. I don't really know. But so I looked, and here come two big giant bucks walking across the road. And I looked out there, and sure enough, it was Forrest. Threw two carrots over there, and he didn't pay a bit of attention to them. They like South Fresh deer food, don't they? I guarantee you he does. But see if he finds that carrot. He still hasn't paid a bit of attention to that carrot. Look at that big boy. Will you look at him? Look at that. Is he special or is he special? We're going to get a little closer look up to him because I'm going to get up here a little bit closer and start feeding him by hand. And we'll be able to really tell a little bit more about him. He's got two broken tines. I fed him the other evening. He was really spooky around me. I mean, he wasn't aggressive spooky. He was afraid spooky, like he's becoming more wild all the time. But he still loves carrots. He still loves to be hand-fed. And I think as we get completely away from the rut, if we look over there at TC, we can see, in looking at his hocks, that they're still really black. And so probably Forrest is the same way. Now he turns and covers his hocks up where we can't see him. What are you doing, TC? But you can look and see TC. He's got a little bit broken off, but not a whole lot. Now you can see his hocks there, back there on his back leg, right there where the elbow area is. That's called hocks, for those of you that don't know. And they get really black, and they have a lot of odor. The male actually pees down his legs and creates a really strong scent. like perfume to a girl deer. That's what I'm told anyway. I don't know. I don't know how they know for all that for sure, because deer can't talk. They make a lot of noise at each other, but we can't understand it. But you just look how big and bright and wide he is. He's 7 or 8 years old, and he's probably just going to eventually die of old age. Deer live to be 15 years old. Some have been known to live as long as 18 years. I've known some does around in places, pet does, that live to be 13 or 14 years old. And so it's possible he could get way on up there and really get some years on him. But he's a beauty. Forrest is only 3 years old, and he's born in 2020, so it's his second set of antlers, really. Had antlers in 21, 22, third set of antlers, I guess it was the third set of antlers. But there's his daddy TC, big boy up there. And all right, Forrest is eating the carrots now, so what I'm going to do, he's walking on up here to me. Look at him. Look at him, he's walking on up here. That's the best thing to do if you're trying to learn to feed a deer, wild deer or whatever. Let him walk up to you. I'm going to switch this around and see if I can't feed him. See what happened when I turned around. Come here, Forrest. Come here, buddy. Come here, pal. Come here. Hey, looky there. Forrest, looky there. He just, he smelled it. There, he found it. See if I can get him. Come on, buddy. Come on. It's all right. It's all right. He's a little afraid of the camera. And we'll see if we can't. Come here, pal. Here. Looky there. He just become he just become pretty wild. I did not really get around him too awful much. Come here, buddy. There we go. There we go. Yeah. I did not get around him too awful much during the rut because of the fact that he could be dangerous. I mean, he's a big deer. He's a strong deer. Got a big set of weapons up on top of his head. And if he wanted to really get ugly and hurt you, he could kill you. And he could kill you relatively quickly. He killed at least one deer that we know of. You see, he used to really love to have his head petted and his ear petted. Not too much about me petting him anymore. You see him turn that head a little bit. Of course, he still would fight. The other deer is still fighting. I got some friends here pig hunting, and they saw a couple big deer fight this morning for quite a little while. In one of the stands, I might go get over in that stand and shoot some video while the deer still got horns. He saw 6 or 7 bucks out of that stand this morning. Didn't see any wild pigs, though. Saw probably 20 does, he said. Yeah, you pretty boy. Isn't he pretty? Isn't he pretty? This is what happens when you feed deer carrots. They grow big horns. They grow big horns, big antlers. Now, he would eat this whole 2-pound bag of carrots probably. Maybe not. I don't know. You see me just getting a little bit more aggressive, coming closer. You see that? Took it out of my mouth. You see that? Yeah. You don't want to do it again. Maybe I got bad breath. I brushed my teeth this morning, Forrest. He said, I ain't taking any out of your mouth, big boy. What do you think I am, a circus animal? I'm a wild deer. I'm a wild deer. That's right. You can see the does coming up, a doe and her baby coming up in the background. That's the little girl that was raised here. I've got 3 other does that's coming around with 3 other babies. They're totally wild. And that deer there is totally wild as well. That baby deer was born in the wild, not in the pen. Exactly what we're trying to accomplish here at Twin Eagle Ranch with our buck and doe program. Hey, buddy. He used to really like being scratched like that. Okay. I'm going to let you eat about a pound, and that'll be about enough, okay? Okay? I got plenty of bags in there. I bought several bags. Still a couple, 2 or 3 days away from Sunday when I pick up groceries again. We've got to have enough to last a week. I got to feed Wild Child and Split Ear. Isn't that special? Let's try this again. Hey, he wouldn't eat the part that's in my mouth. He wouldn't eat it. With the end that I had in my mouth, he backed away from. Now, I turned it around the other end, and he ate it just fine. That shows you he's all male. He don't want to mess with none of that stuff. None of that stuff, Jimmy. I'm all boy. None of that. You so pretty. You're a killer, and you could be so dangerous. I love you so much. Yeah. It's a pretty special deal right here, boys and girls. Pretty special. All right, you've eaten, Jimmy, you redneck. You have eaten, you English teachers, you have eaten about over half a pound. Yeah, over a pound. 2-pound bag, you've eaten over half of it. All right, that's it. All right, look at here. You let me pet him a little bit. That's good. All right, buddy, that's enough, okay? Let's quit. Let's quit. Let's quit. I don't want to quit, Jimmy. All righty, that's going to do it right there. Was that special? Was that fun? Or was that fun? That is really cool, isn't it? Look at him out there. The does are back behind. It's just really cool. They haven't been up around the house in 2 or 3 days at all. Just a few does and lots of turkeys. So that's pretty special right there. We'll see what happens next couple 2 or 3 days. We still got a couple 2 or 3 days left in the week, so we'll see what happens. Let's see. Yeah, something better happen pretty quick. We'll see if we can get some other pictures of some other buck deer. The only deer in the yard this evening is little Buddy. And I don't know why we call him Little Buddy. He's little now, but he's going to end up being a big boy. But Buddy, that was Wild Child and little Whitey's buddy. And named him Buddy because of being Whitey's buddy. But he's been out all the time just like Whitey is. And then Wild Child, of course, we got her back in the pen. I think I'm going to leave her in there until deer season is completely over, and hopefully the rut is completely over. So we'll probably leave Wild Child in the pen till the end of the month, and then I'll start letting her out. And she likes it in that pen, though. She loves it in there. But I think if she gets out and gets used to coming up to me and having me, of course, she comes up to me in a heartbeat anyway, but comes up to me and gets me, have me feed her just about every day that I'm here. And I'm here a lot in January. I'll be here less as the year goes on. We start accepting we got a lot of personal appearances already booked for February and March, and clear through October, as a matter of fact. We've got churches booked and boat shows and travel shows and all kinds of things booked to do, and we'll be doing quite a bit more for Shell and O'Reilly, and so we've got a pretty busy schedule still. So but looking at little Buddy down there, he's looking like he's eating the dead Bermuda grass and not the ryegrass right now, but he has got a variety of stuff to eat, and he's quite happy. Well, I see no antlers. But I do see some really big animals that have come in here this morning to help themselves to a little free breakfast of South Fresh Deer Food. That's not your breakfast, boys, girls. Yeah, go on, get on out of here. Go on, get on out of here. Well, they can move, can't they? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, buddy. Cold out here this morning. Yeah, cold. We promised a 1/4 inch of rain. I haven't looked, but I don't think it's anywhere near a 1/4 inch. Big old elk. Goodbye, Mr. Elk. Goodbye. Great camera work, Jimmy. Great camera work. Well, I'll leave that food on the ground for the deer. Haven't seen any deer this morning. The elk sure showed up. Oh, that could be about anybody coming back home.